just afraid. I refuse to fix the problem, and I think you can carry on. You can lie, you can try, but you'd like to leave this feeling. We got to breathe, to dig, to leave the life we are dreaming. It could go wrong, wrong, but I'm just a nest. You must be lonely, but you could be crazy if you keep looking down. Don't you cry no more, no more. Tears is in my skills, I must confess. I'm speaking in English, but I'm just French. I would like to speak better, add a better fine rhyme to my letter on time, like a watchmaker. You can lie, you can try, but you'd like to leave this feeling. We got to breathe, to dig, to leave the life we are dreaming. It could go wrong, wrong, but I'm just a nest. You must be lonely, but you could be crazy if you keep looking down. Sometimes I think about myself. I wish I was somewhere else, far from my fear, anxiety, far from my weakness. I could be gone, gone, but I'm just afraid. I refuse to fix the problem, and I think you can carry on. You can lie, you can try, but you'd like to leave this feeling. We've got to breathe, to dig, to leave the life we are dreaming. It could go wrong, wrong, but I'm just a nest. You must be lonely, but you could be crazy if you keep looking down. Don't you cry no more, no more. Tears is in my I must confess I'm speaking in English, but I'm just French. I would like to speak better, add a bit of fine rhyme to my letter on time like a watchmaker. You can lie, you can try.
Alright, cool. Alright, hello everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful and phenomenal day. It's been a long day. For me, we got back from the southern land. Well, Kentucky's not really that southern.
So it's Midwest.
Midwest-ish. Yeah, I was up there. Noelle was here, kicking ass on the MCAT, as she does normal. But we're here. But again, before we get started, always a pleasure to announce and showcase our sponsor, Sour Strips.
Sour Strips.
It's got to be there. It's the only way. Now, the thing is all right, we're just gonna, well, same thing as same. But is there, I think this is just a, yeah,
Doesn't look like there's new ones.
I don't think there's any new ones. In the description I'll put below, they're in every Target that you could possibly imagine. They're in the Targets that are next to me. They're in Targets next to you. They're in also your closest Walmarts and most likely your 7-Elevens. Make sure to check out Sour Strips, Max Tuning, the best sour candy in the world. You gotta love it. Alright, well, it's a gloomy day,
Yeah.
to say the least. Some stuff happened over the course of the last couple days that has deeply hurt us, as I love podcasts and I take a lot of inspiration from Joe Rogan, and I love what Mike Tyson does, and I specifically love what H3 does. And over the last couple days, the Frenemies show has ended very abruptly. I would have to say very, very abruptly. I watched it on Thursday, watched the whole thing. I couldn't believe it. And then the tweets started happening, and videos were released, and we're going to talk a little bit about it today because I was genuinely kind of upset about it, and I don't really think that it went down in the best way that it could have. I think that it could have gone a lot better, but again, we're going to go through it. We're going to take a look at it, pulling up our
So for anybody who doesn't know what Frenemies is, H3 Productions, or Ethan Klein and Hila Klein, have had a podcast going on for years, and then within the last few months, Ethan and Trisha Paytas had a subsection of the podcast called Frenemies, and they posted a video on Tuesday, was it, or Wednesday?
They posted it on Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, and at the end of that podcast, there was a kerfuffle of sorts, and
sure.
Trisha walked out. And later, the next morning, she posted.
She didn't really walk out. It was more, she was very she conducted herself as well as Trisha has done in the past. She's grown a lot, and you can see it from it. Let me see if I can find the.
But she posted a video the next morning saying that she was not going to participate in Frenemies anymore. That for various reasons. You know more of the specific reasons than I do. Yep,
we're gonna go through it. I believe that it happened right about here.
It didn't happen last time, did it?
The title was like pregnant.
Is there a third pizza?
You're so not good about this.
Okay, alright, so we're going to pull this up. We're going to full screen it. We're going to get this going. So basically, what has happened so far, to give you some reference, we should probably pull that up, huh? To give you some reference, one second, everybody. Sorry about that. Just realized that,
OBS always does this. There you go.
Meow.
I just love that it's the time that he's dressed up as Uncle Fester.
He's already dressed up as Uncle Fester, too. Okay, so we like that. Alright, so to give you a little background, basically what happened was they were talking about, Gabby Hanna? I didn't even know. Whatever. They're talking about her. We're not going to discuss her today because I do believe Trisha's arguments from the Frenemies is very valid, and I don't wish to discuss her. And glorify the situation that is not even glorified, but bring attention to the situation that is happening. But basically, they were discussing about Gabby Hands, and then they started talking. They started a segment where they were answering people's questions from Frenemies, and this is kind of basically where it started. There was a Q&A session. This Q&A session was orchestrated by the H3 production and a person that they just hired. So this was someone that Ethan just hired through the production. So we're just going to go through this, and then we'll just kind of walk through it.
Okay, let's go through your stupid. I don't like this
pizza.
segment. Just for the record, fan advice is a stupid segment.
Why?
We can do it. It's so dumb. What's the point?
To give advice to our fans.
But that's not the like. Oh, no, that's like when people run out of ideas and they start doing Q&As. Like Tyler Oakley ran ideas. He's like, we're gonna do Q&As now because we have nothing else to talk about. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first point I want to make. She was talking about. I can pull it up right here. She was talking about in the past. Let's see.
She mentioned Tyler.
Rylan is who is Rylan?
Rylan is the fiance of Shane Dawson.
Okay, so Rylan, she was talking some trash a little bit ago and saying that Rylan should respect his fans and treat his fans better. And she basically said that Q&As are stupid and they should not need to hear from their fans. That's basically what I got from that.
Well, yeah, she basically explicitly kind of said that right then.
Cool. Look at that face.
Oh, I love Ethan.
It's such a dumb segment.
It's so not.
It's
It's
like we
fun.
have
Well,
nothing to fill
sometimes.
the time.
Okay, well, what you want to talk more about the Brokeback Mountain, a movie from fucking like
It's
10
just,
years
to me,
ago?
It's like a lazy podcast. Like we're gonna play games on the you
A
know.
lazy podcast. You don't do anything for it. You just show up. We do all the work.
Oh my god, yeah, right.
How am I wrong?
Okay, this is the point where it's going to get really nasty. This is like the switch over. Again, we're going to go more in depth with what's going on here. But again, the whole thing is that before we get into it, they bring it up. They're going to bring up a point about 5% and about money. So keep your ears open for that, and as we'll continue through. Sorry.
With what? I always contribute. You never have like. First of all, when you were doing all the podcasts, it was like Keemstar, Jake Paul, and everyone's like, we're so sick of hearing about this because it's every. Like, I saw on this, you had stuff from last H3. You just recycle H3 content on Frenemies. You're like, oh, we're gonna do Trisha through the history meme or whatever, and like, you already did that on the last episode, and I saw this on here.
I didn't bring it up. I didn't say it.
But the fact that it's already on there, like, I had to bring up all these other topics because I'm like, I don't want to go to that because you brought it up last week.
Let's see. We put together this Gabby Hanna segment.
I mean, I literally, again, could have done that for my head. I always chime in with my topics, like I always do, because like I try and steer it.
What did you bring on the Logan Paul fight?
I brought it up, first of all. Because it's
Brought it
something
up?
trending.
You're like, I don't even know what to say about it. You said, I don't even know why people watch.
I never pick the costumes. I never do the vlogs. I give so many ideas. I say dancing for the vlogs. I give all these ideas, and you don't. It's just
What's wrong with
people that work
advice?
for you? I don't think it's a good segment.
The people want to hear from us.
Okay, do it. I'm just
Okay.
telling you my opinion, and all the vlogs we've done, I've suggested.
We're gonna come. All right, so we're gonna go back to this. So basically, Trisha Paytas, they're basically explaining that she doesn't do a lot of things for the show. That's basically what Ethan's saying. And she's saying that she doesn't get to contribute. But however, she is the one that designs all the costumes.
Yeah,
You
that's
understand me?
when she said that. I was like,
she pays for all the costumes. You know what I mean? So like she does contribute to the show in the way that she can. It's not like she's being completely neglected. You know, it's like she has like a serious like she has a point with that. Like, no, sorry, she doesn't have a point with that because she does contribute. Ethan has a point with that she really does anything besides that. So he's saying that she's done nothing, but she does do stuff, and she's saying that she does stuff and really doesn't do, you know what I mean? Okay.
You're talking a mile a minute, babe.
Hey, we're getting the point of this. I'm very passionate about this currently.
I know. I don't know.
Did other vlogs and like that never does.
Well, if you don't like it, then we shouldn't do it.
Okay.
Since it's a show about me and you.
No, but you're saying I do all the work, but I'm telling you I don't like all the stuff you do. I'm just kind of go with it because I'm like, okay, I guess this is what you want to do, but I have to start saying no because some things are just not good ideas.
I like it for the record.
Okay.
Pretty good defense on Ethan's part because, again, they just hired the people who did the script, who did it are, they're a couple, they're together on the show. The female, I guess the girl in the relationship, I don't know.
The wife of one of their other producers.
It's a girlfriend, I don't know. But it's that was her idea, and they got deeply, and you could see in Ethan as he was right there, he was like, for the record, I don't think it's a stupid idea. Kind of saving himself again. But again, you can see the tension that's kind of building. She's talking a lot of shit about the crew.
Dude, no, this is
it's
giving
getting
me like
elevated,
secondhand
right?
embarrassment, honestly.
No, it's not good.
Got really interesting questions.
They're not though.
Brutal.
I just don't like when we spend like well, whatever.
Go ahead, say it. There's a good script.
But you're asking like we do all the work. It's like we spent one Frenemies rehashing all the stuff you said about Keemstar and H3 Live, which was 2 days prior.
Okay, it happened one time.
No, it's happened before where you just like bring up stuff that you've already mentioned, and it's fine. But
why are you attacking me?
You asked me, you said tell me, and I'm telling you, like all your just because you guys come up with everything doesn't mean it's good. It's recycled, a lot of it. So it's like I can come up with new ideas. A lot of it.
No. Mm-hmm. If you have ideas, I'm all ears.
I watch H3 Live and we talk about the same thing, and I'm happy to talk about it.
It's not always like that. It's happened before. I agree.
It happened last time. It's happened a lot.
It didn't happen last time, did it?
Titles. Because again, the whole thing that's coming up right now is that she's going to be referring to the whole. She's going to bring up the pregnancy thing. So they named two specific videos. One,
they did one with her when she was in the
pregnant,
rainbow
which
wig.
is with Ethan and his wife, and then this one is. Then the following one was pregnancy announcement, right? And again, like that's the majority of what they talked about. But Trisha got upset. Is going to explain how she got upset with that, basically, which is kind of harsh.
The title was like pregnancy announcement, which is I'm happy to talk about the pregnancy.
We talked a lot about the pregnancy here.
But it wasn't the pregnancy announcement H3 Live was. It's your guys' thing, which I'm happy to talk about. I'm happy for you guys. But to say like, oh, we don't recycle things, it's like, you know, you do, and it's fine. But I don't make it the same title because it's not an announcement. We're talking about your pregnancy.
I wouldn't say recycling. It's a different conversation.
The original one was Trisha's gonna like something. It doesn't have to be about me, but I'm just saying like the fact that it's a pregnancy announcement again when it's not a pregnancy announcement because I'm not pregnant. You know what I mean? We're talking about your guys' pregnancy. It wasn't an announcement. You announced it on H3 Live.
Oh, you thought that people would think it was about you being pregnant?
Of course it was, because you are, unless you're just recycling the same title you did for H3 Live, which is, it's not, it's just like, I watch H3 Live, I don't want to talk about it on Frenemies. Like, if we're being honest,
well,
you know.
we were going to talk about Hila being pregnant, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the title has to be pregnancy announcement?
I don't see why that's a problem.
Because you did that on Friday. You're just recycling
Which they did very
titles.
much of so.
It's not an announcement. You weren't announcing it.
Okay, so Hila's pregnant, and I'm talking about it with Trisha. Would you prefer that?
Anything to be more creative. It's like the fact that you just talk about what you talked about the week prior is like, and I've seen other people call it out. It's not just me. Like, I mean, people have called it out before. Like the whole Keemstars, I didn't know it was like the 30 minutes was exactly the 30 minutes you did on H3 Live.
Yeah, I agree. That part was
That's crazy.
Sometimes I forget what I've talked about, honestly.
But you're saying you have all this crew that does all this work for you, and nobody could remember that you talked about that 2 days prior?
I agree. Somebody should have said something. I was like, guys, why don't you tell me when I'm talking about the same shit over?
He apologized.
He's handling it like, but what's bothering me about this is that he's clearly trying to end this conversation.
Yes,
like he's clearly trying to diffuse the situation, and she's not letting him.
Oh, for sure not.
Like he's. This is what bothered me about this part is that she has a point. He accepted the point, so it should be like, oh, I have a point. I agree with that. Okay, we'll talk about that and we'll adapt it for the future. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. And if she didn't, I don't know if she gets the script or gets the plans for what they're going to talk about beforehand. I would assume she does.
They all have a Google Doc, and they all know what's going on.
So she should have known that they were going to do a Q&A, and if she didn't like the Q&A idea, they should have talked about it before the podcast.
Yes, I should have. But then, again, she's also come out and said that, you know, Ethan, what's going on, Ethan just kind of neglects stuff and pushes it off, you know what I mean? So, like, that's what she's stating, that you know, like, their crew just kind of goes with the flow and everything. But again, at the end of the day, you know, it's his company, it's his production staff, they do all the work.
It's also the end of this podcast, and she had been speaking. They had been speaking on something entirely different
They had,
for like
another
an hour.
40 minutes to go on this. They weren't done with the podcast at all.
No, I'm not saying that they were done, but I'm saying, like, usually what they do is they have, like, a first segment, usually, like, kind of, like, especially with him and Hilo, they look at, like, Twitter, they look at TikTok, and then they go on to, like, the main topic of it, and then they kind of taper off.
And then Trisha basically stated that doing things like that, dead zones, where you play games like that, it's stupid. It's not.
She should have discussed that off the podcast.
Yes, and then again, we'll look at some Twitter things that she said, because she did acknowledge that's what should have gone down, and that shouldn't. They should have ended it where it was. Okay, and so we're gonna continue, and yep.
Over and over. Because I tell to them, I go, yo, make sure to include this. And they go, oh, okay. But I go, oh, shit, I talked about the same thing. But I feel like you're so angry about this.
I'm literally not, but it's just so funny.
Are.
I'm not. I'm angry when you say something.
You need to admit when you're angry.
Ethan, I promise you, this is really is gaslighting. I go to a lot of therapy right now, and this really is. When I say I'm not angry,
Personally, Ethan should have just stopped talking and he should have let it go. And a lot of things I think could have gone better between the two. I think they both made some errors.
But that's not his personality.
I know that's not his personality, and I know he needs to, like, there's no reason why he should specifically, like, not, you know, he's walking on eggshells and whatever around her conversations. That's what he states later, that he shouldn't have to do that. And that right there, him knowing her, he should have known that was immediately, like, that's not what we should be doing here. But he wanted her to admit that that something was wrong. And I understand that, like, sometimes, like, someone can be upset and frustrated, but if you ask me if I'm upset, then I'm going to be upset. You know what I mean?
Trisha, like, they've gotten into, like, a few kind of, like bickering. They've bickered before on the podcast, and she does have this thing where she says all these things that are annoying her, and he's like, okay, I see that upset you, and she's like, it didn't upset me. I'm like...
It clearly did.
If you're bringing it up live... and it's not something that can, like, wait until after, or, like, something like... They could have just done the Q&A, and then she talked about it later, and then they wouldn't have done that segment again. That's the main problem that I have with all this, is that, like, they're live. Like, you this is something that you could definitely pull... Like, unless it... I don't know. Because the other bickerings they've had, like, they've kind of gotten over it, they've moved to something different... Like,
but this was like the build-up of them all, because all the same points came from all the other ones, so they obviously didn't take care of what they needed to take care of in the initial of it. I'm sure Ethan did what he could, and he's a very nice guy, and I'm sure he did whatever he could, but all the points she made before, she has brought up again.
Trisha has her idiosyncrasies and her... I hate using the word triggers, but, like, the things that make her not happy. I don't want to say upset, because, like, she keeps saying she's not upset, but, like, the things that annoy her.
Right.
About
gaslighting.
Ethan, like what she calls gaslighting.
Right, and
as Ethan also has these idiosyncrasies where, like, if you watch H3 podcast with Gila, like, there was one year that when they were talking about Greg Paul, and he said something about Greg Paul's sex tape or something, and Gila calls him out on stuff. She's like, Ethan, you shouldn't say that. And he's like, oh, yeah. Because I think that it's important to understand, like, if you're with two people are going to have two very different, like, things that set them off and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to close the door.
Sure.
Go back to the
All right, we're going to go back and there's
I'm going to close the door.
We got a small dog.
Small dog, boy.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go on to this point on.
or him not. I'm like just trying to tell you that you're like, oh, we do everything for the show, and I'm like saying it's not always good. I'm not angry. If I was angry, I would like leave or something, but I'm not. But you telling me I'm angry
or something? You're not upset or
not.
angry? Okay, all right.
But it is like frustrating when you think you do all this work and like think, oh, we're doing all this great stuff, and it's like, it's not that great sometimes. A lot of it is, and I like appreciate all the work you do and stuff like that, but it's also like not that great. I don't get input on like people we hire, like all this stuff like that. I don't get
people we hire. Why would I ask you about people I hire?
Because it's Frenemies and you take the budget for paying the crew. That's what you told me. You take highlights, you take 5% to pay the crew. So why don't I get any input on the crew or what we do?
These are employees of our
So why are you taking
company.
highlights and 5% of Frenemies? You told me that it was to pay them, that they could be working
for production costs.
Okay, but you told me
it's for
at the
production
beginning.
Costs.
You told me at the beginning it's like they could be working on other things. Because I made that argument too. I'm like, well, they're already H3. Oh, they could be working on other things. So I'm like,
she's talking about this whole monetary thing and the monetizing thing, and obviously does she. I truly do not think she gives a damn about money. To be honest, there's no way that has anything to do with anything that's going on. That's what a lot of people on Twitter said last night. She posted 2 videos last night. We watched one of them together, and we didn't watch the second one because I think I watched it by myself. Maybe I had it on the thing. We're gonna watch them in a bit, anyways. So her whole thing is that H3 is a pretty big powerhouse of like a channel, right?
And it has been for years,
like,
even before her.
If you were on that channel, right, you'd be kind of intimidated. Not necessarily intimidated, but if like with Trisha, she has again, I don't want to say like anything inappropriate. I think she's aware that she has some mental problem issues. It's fine. I'm not trying to put on that, but again, like she's in a space and she doesn't feel comfortable. She keeps bringing that up, that she's not comfortable within the space and everything. And the reason she feels safe is because she has Moses there, which is her husband. Moses is Ethan Klein's fiance. What?
It's her fiance, not her husband. They're not married yet.
No, I'm saying Moses is Ethan Klein's wife's brother. That's what I'm saying.
She's Ethan Klein's to-be sister-in-law.
To-be sister-in-law. Yeah, regardless. But again, she brings him in, she feels safe, and then And basically, the entire H3 production is all done by Ethan, right? That's her biggest thing, is she wants, and that's what she's talking about, production. So she basically states that all she really wants is just to have another person that she knows in the room, and that's like her biggest thing, is that she just wants more people to make it more of like a collaboration thing rather than her being viewed as the talent. And we'll see later on, this is kind of what Ethan was getting at, which is
Can you turn off that light?
kind of harsh, really.
Because like I look like a ghost right now.
Ooh. I think it look more like, it's alright. See, I feel like it's too dark. Whatever. We'll go with it.
I just look like a ghost. I'm way too pale for this.
I lost my
shit.
train of thought. We're going to continue with it.
Okay, in that case.
For production costs, I take 5%.
They are dressed as characters from the Addams Family.
Yeah, he's Uncle Fester, and she's
the serial
crazy
killer.
lady.
She's the serial killing wife.
Jean or something like that.
Debbie.
An extra from the podcast revenue, and I take the highlights revenue, and everything else we split.
Right. So for production costs.
Yeah.
But again, you were about to move us all to downtown LA, and I was just like, but the production cost should be included.
Yeah.
Like you were going to share the cameras because Dan said, "Oh, we have to get new computers and new cameras." Well, I'm like, Frenemies
And I
has the
obliged
budget.
you. I said, okay, fine.
But you fought me on it.
Because we bought a studio downtown that was always the plan, by the way, that we were going to move downtown. And then all of a sudden, I was
For
like,
H3,
yo,
I
and
had
I was
no
like, yo,
consent
we're
to it.
moving. I told you ahead of time, but it's fine because
You didn't tell me downtown
we're
LA.
still at my house now. But I said, okay. So I was like, yo, by the way, we moved into our new office. We're going to be there next week. It's good. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to go down there. And we had made all these plans to move the set and everything and to do everything. So you're like, I don't want to go down there. And then we talked about it for a little bit. And I said, okay, fine. And so we had to buy.
But that was the first time we ever spent money on production costs.
It's not about that, dude. It's literally about we are producing the show and I'm taking a cut. I feel like that's beyond reasonable.
All the
Beyond
highlights.
reasonable.
5%.
Here's the thing. Ethan, H3 has been, like, the whole productions has been a thing for years. The Frenemies is, like...
Looks like the guy that kept 12 kids in the cage. I'm sorry.
Like, Frenemies is kind of like a subsection of it, but the thing is, he paid for that studio. He paid, like, $100,000 or something like that for that studio.
$50,000.
$50,000. It's still a lot of money for that studio.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, like, it's his employees that he has had, his loyal employees that he's had for years.
Yep, since they were 23.
I
especially
think
for
that
Zach.
he should be able to make executive decisions because I'm sorry, like, despite the fact that Frenemies is becoming popular, H3 has been a thing for years.
That's true.
It's kind of like if you had a CEO of a company and he's taking in like a new person who he wants to like involve in the company and to maybe like merge two companies or something like that, and then the other person is like, oh, I want to do this, and then the person who runs the freaking company is like, well, I don't know, we should talk about it. Like, I think that is more than reasonable because it is, in the end, and at the bottom line, it's his company.
Right. But how about if I put this into fact? On highlights alone, they make about $60,000 to $80,000 a month.
Because highlights is from H3.
No, it's just the clips, the clips of Frenemies. That's how much it makes. You know what I mean? So,
but
do
the
you
highlights
think,
channel is from everything.
Yeah, but I think that she's only talking about the Frenemies ones. She's not dumb. I think she's just specifically, she's not talking about like the Gila stuff like that because she doesn't get a cut of any of the other H3 podcasts. So if you have $80,000 maximum on the table, and then however much they're making from Frenemies, let alone, and from merch and everything, and Ethan last night, or I'll start bringing in the tweets a little bit. Ethan last night basically stated that all of the money that comes from Frenemies goes into the merch line.
Dude, yeah, he has
now
4,000...
I've produced, you and I together now have produced clothing, and it's expensive.
Yeah,
It's really expensive. So all of that is getting tied up into that, which I think is perfectly fine. But again, like, I'm with Trisha on it. Like, he definitely could she could have an input, at least on Frenemies. Like, she's talking about her sister coming on in producing, being a part of it, right? I think that's completely reasonable.
I think it's reasonable to suggest it. I don't think it's reasonable to expect that just because you ask for something means you're gonna get it.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, I think it needs to be. If he says no, it's his company.
Right, I understand that, but again, like, Ethan's, like, when you say that, like, Ethan was, or during December, there's an episode of Frenemies when Moses was supposed to come with her. That's like her leash, you know. Trisha goes in these episodes, you want to make sure that she's well supported and she has people around her that love her. So Ethan says, look, we don't want Moses there. She says, okay, let's it go. No problem. Not even like no sweat. She was like, I'm working here, I'm here, and I let it go. I just feel like, you know, he could have, you know, there's a little bit of give in that, like...
No, there's things that you can definitely compromise on, but I think certain things like the money and stuff like that, he's been handling that stuff for years. So I think any discussion of money or any discussion of like financials, it shouldn't be on live.
Oh, no, for sure.
That's something that's really inappropriate to bring up on a live podcast or something. You know what I mean?
About the percentages of money?
About percentages, about money. I feel like it's really like...
Well, again, they don't film these
tacky.
Live. You know what I mean? So this is them just talking in a studio.
Well, because he's not going to cut it out, because that's not what he does. He doesn't edit these.
Well, it was her. She gave him permission to put it up.
But what I'm saying is that, like...
It would have been messed up if he put it up and she wasn't okay with it. So...
What I'm saying is that certain conversations are meant to be had. Like, this is a business conversation. This is a conversation that has nothing to do with, like, the audience.
Nothing to do with anything.
It's something that's more private, and it should be private. Because I think that she's making Ethan making him out like, oh, like, I ask you to do something and you shoot me down every time, like I'm just a pawn in this. Like, no, like, well, again, he built the studio for her to kind of like have the Frenemies thing. He put in a lot of money into it up front.
He definitely paid for it after, and I get that he took risks and everything, and then, like, I don't know, we'll see.
Having Trisha do this was a risk.
Well, it was, and it worked out really well, and she's gonna be family.
Did it?
Well, I think it did, because
it just ended like this.
Well, let's keep it going through. Let's reveal the rest of the story.
5%. Do you realize how much 5% was of our last one? That should be enough. But also like highlights, and then you weren't the membership that I had to fight for because you weren't. I forgot to tell you about the members. Like,
I giving you
crazy.
50% of all the members, even though we work and do all of the work. I don't know why you fight me on money. The deal you have is beyond reasonable.
Okay.
No, but I feel like a lot of frustration you have about everything with the.
Frustrated. When I'm bringing stuff up, you get defensive. I'm not frustrated. I'm pointing out these things because I would like to know. I just want everything to be a lot more transparent because I'm like, what are the production costs?
Can't be more transparent.
Can you show me all the costs of production?
It's not like an itemized thing. We are doing the show. That's the cost.
So if you don't think 5% is like enough for the producing the show, 5%
and the highlights was what we agreed to at the beginning, and that's what it is.
Oh my god. Okay, if you think that's what it's worth, okay.
I think she's a little frustrated.
Oh, sure. For sure, she's a little frustrated. But also, it's really hard to put together a 3-hour podcast. Not 3 hours. They go for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours or whatever. Like, they go for a long-ass time. It's hard to keep a show running like that and keep it going and concise with things to do. Like, I understand Trisha wants to be more of a news show and everything, but again, I thought the segments were kind of great. I thought those were very well done, and those are some of the biggest clips that they have. You know, so, and also, like, I don't know, she's getting into this, but she's controlling herself to a degree. From the one that she had before, when she was dressed as Jennifer's body, and he was dressed originally as the same guy, funny enough.
On Goof Faster.
Yeah, way worse. So, all right, we're gonna keep it going. I keep clicking the wrong button.
Stream starting soon.
It's worth more than that, to be honest with you. You're getting a very generous deal. And the sponsors that we work to get, right? We do all the work to bring the sponsors.
I mean, I had 50%. All of Adam and Eve for the first like 20 shows. So I mean, I appreciate what you do, but don't act like I don't bring it. I brought.
Yeah, you brought Adam and Eve, and so that was one sponsor we worked with.
That's all we had for the first like.
And now we have tons of sponsors every episode because it takes time, obviously, to get the show up and pitching, and you get 50% of all of that. I feel like the deal you get is super fair. And I feel like you're gaslighting me, to be honest, saying that you're not like frustrated about that.
But I'm not.
Because it really is a source of like every time something comes up where it's like, I hired somebody or this, that, and like, oh, you don't do that much on the show.
I'm bringing attention to it. I'm not upset. I would text you. I would tell you if I was. It always
comes down to, oh, you get this extra 5%. And so
because you're saying, why should I get an input on the employees? That's what you said. And
because
you brought up to me
they don't just work on Frenemies, they're my employees.
Okay, but when I said that to you originally, you said, oh, we pay the employees. They could be working on other things. So why don't we have Frenemies employees and I get input if we're spending 5% of the budget towards them?
I think that's not what it is.
That's what you said.
So then that's. But I don't remember. But that's
gaslighting is telling someone how they feel, and you're telling me how I feel, and I'm telling you I don't feel frustrated or upset. So I don't know what else that could be.
talking, you can see her slightly getting emotional.
But that's
like,
not who Ethan is.
I understand that, but he knows he's done almost 40 episodes with her. You got to be able to.
She's done almost 40 episodes with him.
Yeah, I'm saying, but he should.
I think that there needs to be like an equal balance of, okay, this is something that I don't want you to say, and also, she is pushing every single one of his buttons right now.
Yeah,
She's telling him that he's selfish, basically. She's telling him that he doesn't listen to her, that he undermines her. I'm sorry, if I were to tell you that, would you not be kind of upset for me about me saying that about you, especially if it's going to be online?
I will, but he is very calm and collected through it.
He's being very like he's
again,
letting her speak. He's not interrupting.
He
her.
was only upset because she trashed the crew. That's why he was upset. Is because they said that they were stupid ideas and that this shouldn't be a thing.
No, that was disrespectful. There's no doubt about it. That was extremely disrespectful just to say this is a stupid idea. Like, if you thought it was stupid, you said they have like a Google Doc where they talk about what they're going to talk about. If you didn't think it was a good idea, say that beforehand and be like, look, maybe you can do this on H3H3, but I don't want on the After Dark.
Things. Well,
but I don't want to do this. And I'm pretty sure Ethan would have been like, all right, that sounds fine. Like, I was hoping to do this, but you know what? If you really don't want to do it, we don't have to.
You don't have to.
You know what I mean? Like, this is something that could have so easily been avoided.
Oh, easily. And it was all because of pizza.
All because he stresses Uncle Fester.
Well, it's because it all came down to, like, he was like, I need someone to go get the pizza, and then he was like, I pay all these employees, why can't someone get me a pizza? You know what I mean? And that's what kind of started the whole thing. That brought up the whole topic.
He was making a joke.
Yeah. He was like, I want that pizza dough. All right, we got 4 minutes left.
How am I gaslighting you by telling you I'm not feeling this way? How is that gaslighting you? I'm not feeling this way.
Okay.
I wouldn't show up. I wouldn't come here. I would,
You listen. You can be upset and not
But I'm not.
because you could be upset and then also not be like, I'm not showing up. Fuck you.
I'm
like
not
there's
upset.
levels.
If I was upset, I
I'm
wouldn't
just
show up.
explaining. I'm just because you can be upset and still show up.
But I'm not upset, and that's what gaslighting is. Because you're saying I'm gaslighting you by saying
you. You're not upset. You're perfectly.
Oh, wow.
You're in a perfect condition right now.
Okay.
No, did you? So no.
That's what she wanted him to say.
Okay, we're gonna play it one more time, right? So where we're at 12, 136, 50.
136.55.
Let's go right here.
I don't remember it.
Listen, watch it.
If I was upset, I
I'm
wouldn't
just
show up.
explaining. I'm just because you can be upset and still show up.
But I'm not upset, and that's what gaslighting is. Because you're saying I'm gaslighting you by saying
you. You're not upset. You're perfectly.
Oh, wow.
You're in a perfect condition right now.
Okay. Wow.
Literally what ended the show, right there.
He's agreeing with her.
Nah, but he was doing it. He was saying it like, oh, he was like we discussed like not like as we talked about it last night. Basically, like we're saying, I'm not upset. You're upset. Oh, you're upset. You're not upset. But he's clearly saying that she's upset, and he's being sarcastic and facetious with her.
He has done everything he can to stop this conversation, and she continues to push his buttons, dude. Like, if eventually you're gonna get annoyed.
Well, again, this guy's been talking and interviewing people for what, like almost since the beginning of time of iDubbbz and on YouTube. Like when iDubbbz was super, him and iDubbbz before Joji and was still Filthy Frank. Like this dude's been around for forever. He knows how to talk to people and he knows how to get maneuver and wiggle around things.
But what I'm saying is that she is questioning. She's doing all this stuff, like saying all this stuff and basically telling him that he's selfish, and then telling him that he's gaslighting her when she seems so upset. So he was literally, the first time he asked her if she was upset, he's like, well, you're clearly frustrated by this. This is something that I didn't want to happen.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't saying it as like, oh, you're upset about this, though, that's stupid, blah, 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 blah. No, he was like, if somebody was speaking like that and airing their grievances, people don't usually air their grievances when they're sunshiny and happy.
Yeah, fair. You're right. Again, I think the second he said that he knew. But
he knew he messed up.
Look at his face. Look at that.
He was like, "This is the moment."
Look at the smug.
He knew.
Dude, that's when he knew.
He fucked up.
He dude, clearly. All right, we're gonna finish this out because this is the sad part, to be honest.
Holy cow, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know how I just don't see what you just did. That's really.
What
crazy.
did I do?
We have to end it now. Like, really.
What did I do?
We gotta stop for real. Really. We
Okay.
need to stop. Please. Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you
All
can
right.
walk away.
So. No, because I don't want to title this.
It's the pizza curse.
But can we just?
I'm not going to title it
It's not.
Trisha.
All right.
It's the pizza curse. It is.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have got pizza. The pizza. Oh no, was pizza? Trisha, let me just say,
The
I'm
fact,
sorry.
Ethan, that you just did that, you're right. You're
don't know
right.
what I just
Nothing's wrong
said.
with you. But I go. You don't know how much therapy I go to a week. I go to 4
But
Zoom
Trisha,
sessions a
you
week.
can't-
No,
I understand,
Ethan,
but okay,
what
all
you
right.
just said was you're.
He did try to stop the
He
conversation.
apologized like right away, dude.
Well, he apologized, and then but
And
again,
he tried to make
he tried to
make it lighthearted.
Dude, I swear I do that all the time when like someone's upset at me and I like, or like I'm talking about something I don't want to talk about, and you just immediately change the subject. Like that's what he did. That would have been fine.
You
But
make a joke of it. You try to. The best way to diffuse a situation is to make the other person laugh.
I think he was just hoping that would have been that would have been it, because in any situation that would have just been it.
Yeah.
It would have been it, and you would have moved on. But okay, I want to finish this out.
I just want her hat came off and that was kind of.
You're right, Trisha. Everything's fine. That's insane. Like the fact that you did that to me is like
It's
insane.
not insane. We're friends.
was
We're
so
having
nice.
a friendly conversation. I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around everything I
Okay.
say.
All right, Ethan.
We
I'm
have
asking to end this. I'm asking.
You can leave anytime,
But
Trisha.
then you're making this thing where we're not ending the show, and you get to sit here and be like, okay, well that just happened, and you're eating pizza, and then
I
it's a
will
joke
end
and
the
whatever.
show the minute you walk
All right,
off the
so
frame.
let's just end it, please. Thank you guys for watching, and I don't want it to be a thing where you're just sitting here eating pizza and you become
okay.
a meme.
So then I'll say, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't want to get in an argument over
I really
like
need
your
to
emotion.
leave.
Okay, all right, we're done. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna get to the extra stuff. So a lot of shit happened after that, a lot, which is really depressing because they kind of trampled each other, and it's kind of harsh. All right, let me see if I can get the video.
All right, I just want to say one thing though.
Go for it. Go for it.
Throughout that argument, Trisha basically called him selfish. She called him greedy. She's saying that he's lying. He's basically trampling over her and like not letting her have like creative control over anything. Basically, she's calling him a gaslight. Like she's saying so many negative things about him and saying all of this stuff and shit about him. And the one thing he says when like he's clearly tried to end this conversation in a good way, in like a calm way, like 5 times during that, and she didn't let him, and so he's just done with it. I'm sorry, but like at a certain point, you get annoyed. You can't like when somebody's coming after you again and again and again. Like at a certain point, you're gonna be fed up with it.
Yeah.
And
For
so
sure.
she did like if the one thing he did was like say something sarcastically to her. He says sarcastic things to her all the time, dude. Like
Yeah, I do think it's wrong. I think it's kind of messed up on her
like,
part.
for her to say that, I understand that she has her sort of issues with herself and that she has things that she's working on and dealing with. But I think everybody has shit that they're dealing with.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely, everybody has shit that they're dealing with. And
Dude,
like,
Ethan's a dad.
he's gonna be triplets, dude. That would be something I would have to deal with.
Is it really triplets? I didn't really.
He's
catch
like
that.
it's 2 or 3 babies.
Yeah, okay.
That's
okay.
a lot of babies.
It's probably gonna be 2.
That's a lot of babies.
I'm just glad they had. Congratulations.
Which
on that.
congratulations, honestly, awesome. But I think that she's basically villainizing him for a good 6 minutes, and for him to just kind of be done with it. Like if I were to look at
Well,
you,
it's just being defensive.
sometimes you phase me out sometimes, and I'll be like, it happened on that one podcast, and somebody was like, cringy chemistry. But like, it's just something that happens. I know that sometimes you phase everything out, and I do the same thing. But if I was trying to like say something serious to you and you did that, I would eventually get fed up with it and be like, okay, you're not listening. And then you would start to listen and it would be fine.
Well, you
I
clearly
think that-
understand that one person was up, and Ethan was getting frustrated at that point.
I would too.
I'd be super.
I would be so annoyed.
For sure.
Because I think it's unfair for somebody to say that their issues and that the things that bother them are more important than another person's. You're supposed to be friends. You're supposed to be sitting there and having a discussion, and so like
soon to be family.
yeah, like when you and I don't really get into like fights or anything, but if I'm annoyed about something, I tell you. If you're annoyed about something, you tell me. And like it might be like a kind of uncomfortable conversation, but
You get through it.
you don't attack the other person. You don't, because she was attacking his character.
Yeah, like again, like
She was so clearly frustrated and so clearly, I won't use the word upset, but like she was so clearly not happy.
Yeah. Well, again, she's going through a lot
He
of therapy.
apologized like 3 times. Like he didn't really do anything wrong.
No, I don't think he did anything. Hey, what's going on? But again, like, I understand, like, he didn't do anything wrong, but she was like, you know,
I'm not laughing at this.
therapy.
I'm laughing at something else.
Oh.
What happened?
Oh, computer's gonna die. Oh, we moving.
I'll just say, but like
Keep
the thing
going.
is, I think that in any sort of friendship, any sort of relationship, they so like Ethan has his own mental things that he deals with. He has his own kind of impulsivity and stuff like that. Like,
For sure.
I think that kind of, I'm trying to think about how to phrase this. To say that the things that push your buttons are more valid than something that pushes somebody else's button, because she was pushing every single one of his buttons right there. She wasn't letting him end the conversation. And like, yes, she's going to therapy and she's doing things, but I also don't think that she's even said it before. She has said it before that mental illness is not an excuse for behavior.
She has?
She has said that on a previous podcast. We will find that later. But
Okay,
she has
you can
said,
find that. That'd be awesome, because I have no idea what that is.
I'm
but
trying to remember which one they were talking about.
she definitely used that when she was talking about therapy and everything. All right, so after that happened, the following day, they were going to do a shoot. They were going to do, not a shoot, but they were going to do a vlog where they got a rage room. They're going to break stuff together. It's going to be, I was super excited for it. I didn't know it was even happening, but it was going to be super hype. And basically the crew said that we do not feel comfortable working with Trisha. We think that's everything that happened was kind of disrespectful and rude, and Ethan had to agree, so they canceled the shoot because they thought that Trisha needed to cool down. So here is basically her reaction to that.
It's really early in the morning on Tuesday. I just want to make this video because I had just a lot of anxiety yesterday and a lot of anxiety this morning. And I like slept on it, and even before sleeping on it, like I had this feeling in my heart that I need to step away from Frenemies, and it's really, really with a heavy heart that I say that, because it is kind of like it's been my stability, my regular thing once a week that I like absolutely look forward to, and I really love doing the show. But having said that, you know, I was reading the comments, the members only one went up, and a lot of people were upset by my little episode yesterday, and I usually wake up the morning.
All right, cool. Sorry. So basically, from this entire video, from right on here, she basically states that Ethan, Ethan and his crew, were not necessarily in the wrong, but that she's true to her opinions and her feelings, and she believes that it, you know, that it's the crew, not necessarily the crew's fault. There should be sound now. We all better now? Sorry about that. I saw it. Thank you for letting me know. So basically, she basically stuck to her truth and her opinion, and then immediately after that, this dropped. Another video was posted. Basically, Ethan replied and basically said to this on a tweet. I don't know if the tweet's still there, but basically just saying, can you pull that up actually really quick? Do you have
he
that?
deleted the tweets, but
No, not that tweet. He still has the one that up though. Definitely still does. Yeah, I'm not signed in. You got Twitter? Nope.
you don't have to sign into it.
I'll just pull it up right here. It's alright. I think it's better if I read it anyways. So they had a lot of Twitter beef last night, and it was really, really sad to watch it. It was really depressing. It was kind of like a spiral that just kind of spun out of control. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, it was really harsh, because these are two people that I really respect, and I love them so much. I think they're amazing, amazing people. And I thought they worked really well together. You know, Trisha's had her up and downs, and Ethan's had, you know, some up and downs here and there in the past. But again, like, their dynamic was fantastic, and it sucks that it had to go this way. Okay, so Ethan basically stated right after this that at the end of the day, Frenemies was a beautiful experience that I will cherish, that I will always cherish. I've learned and grown so much from the experience and have Trisha to thank for that, which is absolutely amazing. And she's a dear friend of his throughout, and will all be grateful for all she's done for us. So she's including her of like everything that she's done. He's stating that like she was a substantial factor within the show, and that he misses her, and that he still loves her. All right, Darren. So basically, we are talking about a podcast between Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein. You can look up their names. They are basically they are podcasters. Trisha Paytas is a multi-sensational internet star. Ethan Klein is in charge of the H3 podcast. They created a show together called Frenemies, which is a sub H3 podcast that Trisha thought that she was more of a co-host for. They got into a huge argument and believed that she believed that Ethan was gaslighting her, that she wasn't upset. He thought she was upset. She clearly was upset. We talked about that like 25 minutes ago. And now we're here. The show has ended. They made 39 episodes. The show has ended now, and we're kind of just going over what has happened, the aftermath, because these are two people that we care about. And I invested a lot of time yesterday watching in the drama. And I'm not usually a guy who is one for tea, but I've been enjoying the tea. All right. Okay, so we should probably go to the next one, because you didn't see this.
I did see that.
Not this one. The other one. But that is what we were talking about. Talking about something that never should have happened. And I'm very sad that it did. Okay, we're not going to watch all of this, but we are going to go through. So basically, Trisha got a lot of hate for this, like an inordinate amount of hate from people, because after that thing that Ethan put out, and then she basically saying everyone did not agree with Trisha on this. For the extent of what I saw, I went through a lot of Twitter things last night, like Twitter comments, and they really didn't see that on her. So we're going to see her reply right now, real time, of how she feels about all the hate she's getting. Well, as she got yesterday, which I believe is now dialed down, which is I'm very happy about, because she doesn't deserve to be hated for anything. Trisha shit happens, man.
No, absolutely not. Nobody ever deserved to get hate for that kind of thing.
All right.
I can like handle that, because like everyone just hates me right now, and I'm this is probably gonna come off so wrong, and more people are gonna hate me. I was a fan of you because Ethan put up with you, and now that he's not putting up with you, no, I'm out, and that's fine. And at this point, it's like I'm not trying to convince people like me. I'm not trying to convince anything. I just really need to clarify something that people still are not getting. The H3 employees have nothing to do with Frenemies as far as our 5% salary. The 5% thing. Yes, Ethan gets an extra 5% from the main channel, but he also gets 100% of the highlights. So technically 105%. And the highlights make a shit ton of money. I add up the views of our Frenemies highlights. I'm not talking about the H3 highlights, of our Frenemies highlights. And that's like, it's literally probably half of what we make. It's a lot. I would guess anywhere from $50,000 to like $80,000 like a month. Like that's just a guess. I don't know. I don't see the numbers. I never do. And I've always been fine with that. I don't ask for more money. Even now, I don't ask for more money. And the whole.
However, in a previous podcast, Ethan did say that they were making chump change on that, so I really don't know how like specific it is on that. But
she literally says it's one of like the biggest sources. She said something like, "Oh, it's one of the biggest, the most money that they make on it." But then she says she hasn't seen the money on it. She hasn't seen the numbers on it. That's what I'm confused about. Like, if you haven't seen,
she's guessing.
You're guessing. And
which was me guessing earlier, because I just went off her on that, because that was I was intersecting into that. But yeah, that's what, I don't know, maybe they're making that much. If you're making,
who knows?
There's 39, okay.
Because also you don't get ads on videos less than 10 minutes on YouTube.
So
there's no AdSense on anything less than 10 minutes.
That's not true. David Dobrik, bro. He had an ad on it. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Man made.
Was that AdSense or was that paid promotion?
It's AdSense. So let's do this real quick. Let's say they got 39 episodes, right? 39 episodes times 3 highlights an episode times, let's say they make $2 million average. So that's like $1,200. No, let's say that's $2,000 maybe.
Sorry?
$2,000 for, so I made $600 off of 1 million views. So it'd be like 1,200. Okay, times 1,200.
You can't have mid-roll ads. You
Well,
can only have one ad.
Weird because you always see numbers, especially if you work. You do.
That's
if you're an
saying.
actual contributor of the show and you're doing things, you would technically see the work. So from my calculations, you'd be making $140,000 a month on
We have to take taxes and.
of that. So I don't necessarily I kind of believe her number a little bit.
But the thing is, she doesn't know.
No,
She literally explicitly says, I haven't seen the number. So for her to speculate, that's why I think that talking about money on the internet is kind of like, it's a no zone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, PewDiePie never says how much he makes. Like, people speculate about his net worth at all times, and he never, like, confirms it or anything. Like,
money ruins everything.
because the thing is, she continuously says that it's not about the money, and that she continues to talk about the money. That's what's bothering me. Like, it's like what I'm saying. If you seem upset and you're so clearly frustrated, and then somebody points that out, that's not gaslighting.
That's just saying, hey, you know,
That's
you look like
saying-
you're upset.
Yeah, if you don't, I think she just doesn't want to be upset about it, which is like a fair thing. But if you,
Yeah.
if I were to say everything I didn't like about you, and then you're like, "Are you upset?" I'm like, "No, I am sunshine and daisies." Like, it's a little bit like I understand that she has a lot of things going on in her head, but I think a lot of people, like I do, I got terrible ADHD, and everybody thinks it's a fake thing, but like a terrible anxiety, like.
Yeah. So from Soul City, yeah. So basically, she does talk that it's about the money, but the whole thing is, like I've said this earlier, it's not necessarily about the money necessarily. It's that she wants to have more of a contribution, and she believes that if they're both making money, that they should both be able to make executive decisions on the show about what happens with the money. So it's not necessarily about the money. That's at least what I've gathered from everything that I'm seeing, because she definitely has enough money, for sure. So like I believe she just wants to have more of a control. We are from the USA.
USA.
All right, let's continue it, baby. Nope. Keep hitting the wrong thing.
Whole reason the 5% and 105% thing is brought up in regards to employees is because like he's like, oh, it's gonna go towards employees, and then the other part was towards production costs. Like, do you guys think that like all of Frenemies just pays for the H3 employees? No, obviously H3 also pays for that in some way. They've been around way before Frenemies, and they'll be around long after Frenemies is over. Like, so for people to be like, wow, she's talking about their salary. I'm not. I was saying if our money is for production costs and employees, like I would love to have a say in a new hire, like for Frenemies to benefit, because I've been saying for so long. Some people are like, if you can produce it, then why haven't you? It's like, because we don't, like, there's no Frenemies producer. They work for Ethan. They work for H3. That's their priority. And what Ethan says goes. Like, nothing's run by me or anything like that. And like I said, now everyone's like saying, well, it is the H3 show and it is their show. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I'm getting that now. But like the last thing I am is disrespectful to crew, staff. And like, that is my number one.
How can you say that you're not disrespectful when you clearly said that their ideas were stupid, that it was a poorly run show
On the show.
and you're on the show in front of the people who produced the show, the people who are being paid for the show, and the people that have helped run the show smoothly. So I don't know, man. She's digging herself a hole. Obviously, this is, again, I believe that she was. I think it's such a rude thing to say and a gross thing to say when you say someone's having a manic episode, but I do think that she's having she's
having an episode.
She's, highly emotional. I'd be highly emotional too. That's one of her favorite. I'm sure that's Ethan, and that whole thing is one of her favorite things to do.
Okay, here's the tweet. This is a deleted tweet.
Oh, really?
It's because Ethan had posted
Oh yeah.
text messages with them talking about, this isn't the exact word. Where's the other
Before
one?
you get right into that, so basically, so yesterday there was a whole thing on Twitter that went down, and all the tweets were deleted. But basically, Ethan was stating that after the video that we are watching currently right now, his people had to go private because of the amount of hate and trash and disrespect that they were getting. And Ethan said, "Look, I gotta stand up for people. I gotta stand up for the people who work for me and the people that I've known for
that have worked for him for
that have worked for him." And she got super heated off of that and then for literally 30 minutes, she posted something every 2 to 3 minutes of like another like rant going and talking about this, being like, let me see, go back.
So there's this text message between the two of them that she had posted on Twitter. Because you can see it's from her perspective. And he goes, Ethan says to her, we can just do 50-50 on revenue from the main episodes and sponsors. And Trisha goes, okay, works for me. Ethan responds with, it's basically just 50-50 on all the money from the main episodes. There are highlights, we'll just keep that money to cover production costs and such. Trisha says, okay, that totally makes sense to me. Ethan says, if that's okay, she says, totally. And Ethan says, would you be okay with 55-45? I think the other stuff might not add up to enough. She says, LOLK. He's like, how about 60-40? JK. Sorry, I know it's lame. I was just thinking about it a little more. And then she says something kind of anti-Semitic.
I wouldn't say it.
And she says, I don't care, that's fine. She has talked to him about this, and they have clearly discussed this. And
she got a lot of anti-Semitic hate after that, too. I was looking at the comments.
Yeah,
they
she
were
shouldn't
going
have posted
ham.
that.
Yeah, man. Well, again, she thinks it's all good because
He
she's
says,
she's
I was
with
just
Moses and whatever.
he
she's
texts her
becoming,
back.
She's somehow she's becoming Jewish or something, or she's converting.
Well, she's marrying, I don't know. So and Ethan says, I was just thinking I want to hook the crew up a little for the extra work. She says, LOL, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, man. No, it's, again, like she says it's fine. It's already in text message, it's fine. And a lot of the things that they were talking about yesterday, they didn't... Sure, hold on, everybody.
You can't get off your damn phone, can you? But anyway, I understand being upset and wanting creative control over things. That's not the issue here. The issue is that it was something that money should be talked about. It's kind of like you don't talk about your money in front of your friends. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
You don't talk about money. You're not like, hey, if you're in front of like a group of friends, I wouldn't go up to you and be like, you know that Chipotle you were supposed to Venmo before? Well, I'm gonna tax you a little bit of interest on it, but like I think it's kind of unfair that we haven't discussed the Chipotle money on Venmo. And you're like, we have discussed the money on Venmo. I told you I sent it to you next week, and I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I feel like you don't do that in public. It's impolite at the very least. And I think it's just kind of like she continuously says, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. You're talking about the money.
Yeah.
If you want creative control, you wouldn't talk about the numbers. You would say, I want to do this segment. I didn't like this segment. I want to do this. And then saying, I will never disrespect the crew. I would never do that. You very clearly disrespected the crew.
Yeah, she did. And that never should have been on screen. It never should have come off camera. I'm reading the chat right now. It's something, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Because, like, in certain things, like, everyone likes drama. Trust me, everybody likes.
But this is stupid.
Everybody likes the pull, but, like, these are two people who, like, give a damn about each other. And there's no reason they should be, like, it's not like, you know, this, like, whole, like, you know, drama of, like TikTok and everything. I always thought, like, the Jaden Hostler, Mads Lewis, and,
it's a whole bunch of teenagers.
like, that stuff, like that, like, but this is, like, this should never have been talked.
These are two grown adults.
These are two grown adults in their 30s discussing something that should be completely, you know, not even, and they're my favorite podcast. So it's like, why would these two people that, like, everyone cares about so much just rip each other apart last night? And again, they must have talked about something because they've deleted the tweets and everything, and they're
Ethan did. I think it's because when she was talking about it and she posted a few tweets, and Ethan, because the thing is, during that whole argument on the podcast, he stayed pretty freaking quiet.
He did. Because he was very
kept his
controlled.
mouth shut for a lot of things that, like, props to him. But I'm sorry, if somebody that I just became friends with or just started working with started coming after you or started coming after my friends, people that I've known for years and who have helped me for years and who have been loyal to me for years, I'm gonna say something back, because that's if you didn't, that's completely disloyal.
Sure. And again, they also talk that he says things all the time to her. You know, things that are, like, in a joking manner.
But
and
she even said in her tweet that that's just how they banter.
No, yeah, exactly. That's just how they banter. But sometimes he says something, and then if she's not in the right mood, because leading up to this, she was in a situation where she was in a parking lot, and people wanted to take photos of her, and she already wasn't in a good mood. That was how they started it. She was, like, not in a good mood at all. And then they put her in the thing, so you could see the thing boil up. That's a great quote. Trisha, we're friends. I shouldn't be walking on eggshells. It's true. If you've known, because again, they've done 41 episode a week, and they've done 39 episodes.
A whole buttload of episodes.
That's almost like a year, right?
Yeah.
52 weeks in a year, right?
Yes.
So they almost, yeah, okay, I know my stuff. They've known each other, and she's getting married to the thing. She's getting married into the family.
Brother.
Into the family. There's no reason why these guys should be even doing it. And again, I do think it's for the best. If they can't get it anymore, they should stop the show because it shouldn't ruin their relationship on a family level. She did state, like, family shouldn't work together and whatnot. I'm gonna take a quick. Would you like an 8-piece chicken McNugget from Chick-fil-A?
A McNugget from Chick-fil-A is a new thing.
Like 8-piece McNugget. Is that cool? I got 2 of those from
Yeah, it's
from
fine.
Quinn. All right, that's cool. That's cool for dinner.
Yeah. Taco Bell and Chipotle.
Is that are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm just gonna have to go to the gym tomorrow.
All right, cool.
But all I'm saying is, whilst you're dealing with professional things as dinner orders, I'm just saying that if you're in a friendship, your friendship should go 2 ways. You should know, he knows the things that he shouldn't say to her, but she should also be held accountable for the things that she says to him. Because she says so many things to him. In that 6-minute segment, basically calling him, I'll reiterate myself, calling him selfish, saying that he's greedy with money, saying that he's narcissistic, egotistical by not letting her, he's controlling, domineering. The thing is that this is his company. Alright? H3, it's on H3, it's connected to H3 Productions, it's not connected to, it's not, because she used to have her own podcast, Dish with Trish or something like that. This is, everything that happens on this podcast connects back to his reputation. So he should have executive control. It doesn't mean that because what it sounds like is that she, with the whole, new hire and stuff like that, she wanted to hire her sister, right?
Yes.
She should definitely have the opportunity to present that as an offer, but he should absolutely have the ability to say no.
Yeah.
I think that in a friendship, in our there's certain things where, you should be able, it's kind of yeah, of course he wants to hear your opinions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be of course we can hire your sister. Because the thing is, the people that work on Frenemies also work on After Dark. They also work on the H3H podcast. They work on everything, and they've worked with him for years. They're part of his family.
Yeah.
They're more family to him than she is at this point.
It's true.
Because they also, during the podcast and stuff like that, when Ethan because he can sometimes say something out of line, because he can be kind of impulsive with his speech, the production crew and Gila are always that's enough. And I think that shows a lot more respect for that than storming out, because I think that compared to everything, watching this again, I'm just kind of everything that she said about him, if you compile that 6 minutes where she was basically the only one talking and saying all this shit about him, and I'm sorry, if all that he did to retort was a sarcastic comment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he was extremely patient with it. A lot of friendships are, one way.
How old is she?
She's in her 30s. I don't know the exact age. And also not she, it's they. Just zero on it. They, them.
I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that.
It's okay. That's what I'm clarifying.
Thank you.
Ethan is super patient towards her. That's true. Zad said you'll post a side topic break. I will post a diet. Chick-fil-A is not on the diet, sadly, but I'll get that up going. I think you guys will enjoy it. And it definitely was the pizza's fault. I think that's the funniest thing on the planet.
Pizza and Fester, man.
Yeah. It's
But even Uncle Fester was a simp. He wasn't being a simpter in that situation.
Oh, no. God, no. He wasn't.
Such a good movie.
33. Thank you.
Wednesday's just in that time of life when she's only got one thing on her mind. Boys, homicide. Such a good show.
Well, is there anything else you want to bring up into this? It's a very sad hour. I really didn't want to make this to be the... No, we can talk more. I just is there anything else you want to specifically talk more about on this factor?
I think my main issue with all of this, and the main issue that I have with a lot of things that are kind of tea and drama that's coming up on the internet right now, is because a lot of these topics and a lot of these issues are things that should be handled privately. Of course they're internet personalities. Course they're content creators.
Sorry, I didn't. I thought because I saw a lot of tweets saying they. So might be.
If I did misgender her, I'm sorry. But if I don't know. I just genuinely didn't know.
Okay.
I'm so confused now. But the thing is there's a lot. They're in their 30s. She should know what things are private and things that should be handled behind closed doors versus things like the bickering that they've had before, where it's about something that Ethan said or something like that. That's fair game, because it's a conversation that they're actively having. But if it's something about money, if it's something about insulting the crew or talking about a segment that you don't like while you're doing this segment,
Yeah.
It's very childish, and I'm just gonna. I understand that she has mental health issues, but a lot of us do.
Yeah.
A lot of people have things that they're actively going through, and she says she's going to therapy, and that's great. But if she wasn't mentally prepared to do all of this, she shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I think taking that out on Ethan is extremely unfair.
It is extremely
because
unfair.
her fan base was going after him yesterday.
I thought it was also extremely, because like she again, these people have been with H3 for forever, and I think it's kind of like a weird thing for her to assume and to think that just because she's coming into the family, marrying Moses and everything, that she automatically has like a spot in this situation. Like she does, she's family. Like obviously they're family now, but again, like I feel like in certain situations when you're encroaching on what he does, it's not like he encroaches on what she does. At the beginning of that podcast, he played it's like her commercial. I don't even know what the time that was on it.
Yeah, it should be discussed off the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
But, you know, he plays her music videos. He's on the merch. He's producing
he's
her.
He's extremely supportive of her.
Because she said in one of her tweets yesterday, which was, like, super just egocentric. She was like, I'm losing, like, the show helps me go along with, like, some of my business, like, other side things. But now I won't have that, and that's okay. And it's like, bro, like...
She also made something like that, talking about how much, like, traction she brought to H3H3. I want to say
she clarified up that that's not the whole, that she agrees that, like, she fully states that she doesn't believe that she's the reason. She said that either on Twitter yesterday or at the end of this video, but she basically says that she knows that she's not. She knows the thing is, that's the thing. She knows
that she was wrong.
She knows that she's wrong. And she admits that she's wrong,
but
right?
Her video's still up.
But she finishes it with, I still am one with my opinion and my feelings. She's like, she knows she did something. And in this, she feels like she's like, nothing was wrong. She was rude to the crew. She still really hasn't. I think she admitted that on, can you pull up her tweets?
She did.
She admitted that she was wrong? Because she did, didn't she?
I'll find it.
Yeah, I want to know what she said there. The commercial was weird. It was super weird. I'm a huge fan of My Chemical Romance, and I love the stuff that she does when it does that, and she spends a ton of money on and it's great. I think her producing skills are off the chart. She's not producing it, obviously. She's picking the people to produce it, but she's picking the right people. Super brain fart. But the commercial was really weird because the whole thing about it was like promoting like healthy skin and everything, and then if her auras, like with her, it helped her through. I forgot what the company was. I don't know what
she says, I apologize to Ethan, Dan, Ian, and Sam, like I really do. It's embarrassing and I'm embarrassed. And most of all, you guys, like it was cool as fuck to be back in a popular group for just being me. Like, love and positivity always feels good, and this right now does not. I'm sorry.
Well, you created it, and I'm sorry. But again, like, it's good that she's admitting that it's embarrassing. But again, she can't play like, yeah, dude, she's definitely in the wrong. But again, she can't play like both sides. She can't say like,
it's
just, if she just should have ended with like, it's embarrassing, I'm embarrassed, and that's it.
It's crocodile tears. That's exactly what it is. Because I'm sorry, like, you can have everybody has their, like, people have their issues, and it's understandable if you're having an episode at that point and so you are being impulsive. But I also think that if you wake up the next day and you realize you're being impulsive, wouldn't you delete the video?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you completely delete all your tweets and be like, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to be discussing this with Ethan in private?
AB? What happened to AB? What about AB?
Yeah, AB. She insulted AB. He's
she did?
He's another producer in the show.
Oh.
It was his wife that she insulted.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was that. That's the whole thing. Like, she's like, she clearly insulted someone that is producing the show, is helping out with the show. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's just not she's talking about being uncomfortable in a work environment. You know how uncomfortable that person must have been? You know,
it's
there's
new employee. Yeah,
you have
somebody who's been on the show for a while, somebody who's a way big internet personality being like, this idea is shit. On live, and you're like,
what the hell?
It's like if I made you dinner, you take one bite and you go, bleh.
Yeah, and you just throw it out. Like,
and then you posted it on Instagram. Like, I'd just be like,
well, again, I think she needs to apologize for AB. I forgot about AB, and I feel bad. But,
no, she needs to especially apologize to Ethan, because.
But again, I don't think that this should be. But okay, She shouldn't apologize on the internet. She shouldn't apologize on
No,
Twitter.
that's what I mean.
She should go. They shouldn't even. We should just be left in the dark now. There should be no other conversation. Okay. And they need to address it off screen. And then if they want to make a comment on Twitter and being like, "Hey,
we solved the beef. Everything's good.
well, she hasn't done the proper research." One of her tweets, one of her most recent tweets was, where is it? Where's the top? Can you find the?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking at the one where she's like, I'm not looking. Oh, I'm literally not reading anything anywhere. I'm just venting.
Why are you venting on the internet, Mike? Like, if you know you have a mental issue that makes you impulsive and that makes you prone to paranoia because bipolar personality disorder or antisocial, I think she has BPD, right?
BP, I don't know specifically.
But she has a personality disorder. And I'm a freaking neuroscience student, dude. They make you impulsive and they make you paranoid, and that's something that is perfectly acceptable. But if you know that about yourself and you're going to therapy, turn your phone off. Talk to your husband. Take a bubble bath. Like, take your meds.
Yeah. Like, again, she states
there
that...
are ways to cope with it that aren't outward. They're not external. Because if she's just venting and she's trying to deal with this herself and personally, why is she posting about it? And I understand that, like, that's somebody else's decision, but I think that she has said this before, and I will find that clip and you can post it later. She said that mental illness is not an excuse for being a terrible person. I'm pretty sure she said that about Jeff Wittick.
Okay.
I just couldn't find the soundbite.
But you positive. You like
Positive.
95.
95%.
Well,
P-value less than a 0.05.
Makes her... Well, she's... Okay, there's also another point that was brought up again. I don't want to talk shit about Trisha because I like Trisha. I liked her before. I liked her when she was on David Dobrik's vlogs. I liked her about it, and then when she randomly vanished, I was upset about it. But she also... The whole thing that happened was they were talking about... She said on Twitter last night, like, again, like, she has another part... Where is it? There's something in the... Someone said something in the comments. She was just, like, basically just saying random stuff, and, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna finish this point. So basically, they were talking about Brokeback Mountain when they got the pizza and everything, and she was talking about Brokeback Mountain and, like, something about it.
Movie from 2004.
And he said to one of the people, he was like, he was talking about the pizza or something. I believe he was talking to Dan about, he was talking to somebody just about the pizza. Wasn't really talking over her. It was just like,
just talking.
I'm talking. We're a room full of people. We can talk together. And then she laid it on him that he was like, interrupting her and dissing like the trans and LGBTQ plus community, which is ridiculous because, Ethan's one of the hugest LGBTQ plus like supporters on the thing. They talk about him all the time. They talk about the movement. They talk about it's great. I love it. And like I just don't understand why she has to like throw him under the rug for something that like first of all is completely unrealistic, like unreasonable. Although people at BP have said in the comments that even though they may have impulses like the one Trisha experienced, they wouldn't go as far as to be rude.
Like I'll say something that I'm somebody who has severe anxiety and severe ADHD. I'm medicated for it. I used to go to therapy for it, and there are issues that come along with it, but I'm also a neuroscience student. And also, so there are facets of disorders that it makes you, like, especially for personality disorders, it makes them paranoid. It also doesn't really allow them to see a lot of objective truths. Yeah. But I think also if you're going to therapy and you're working through those things, you should get a new therapist. Because while she has improved, and over the course of like watching her through Frenemies, and I used to watch her videos when she was like first starting out on YouTube or a few years after that. The thing is that it's the same thing where you can't. Mental illness doesn't excuse behavior. It excuses kind of proclivities to behavior or kind of influences to behavior. But at the end, especially if you are doing therapy, you have gained a power to kind of control that. And I think also with her husband too. Like I think like I'm not sure about the relationship, but she needs to find support networks that aren't the internet.
Oh, well, that's Moses. Moses is her support. And I think, but again...
But she's venting on Twitter.
Yeah, but again, like, could have this all been handled if she had more support in the studio? You know what I mean?
We don't know the situation of why he didn't want Moses in there.
No, I'm saying, like, of why, like, she couldn't have gotten more people into the... Because, again, how I'm viewing the situation is that, again, an assumption could be making an ass of myself. But I feel like how it went down is that he hired it. He hired the person. They talked about it. She said that they nudged it off, and he went through with it. And then at the last second, she's like, "Oh, well, I got someone to hire. You're not listening to me and everything." And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm not listening to you. I told you this is what we're going to go with. You agreed to it, and now you can't go back on what you said." No, she has always been like this.
It's a pattern of behavior.
It's a very big pattern of behavior.
And also, I think we should give Ethan props, because the H3H3 Ethan before Frenemies that I know, if somebody was talking to him like this, like the way she was talking to him was objectively disrespectful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if there's a time and a place to talk about things, throughout that clip and throughout that segment of the podcast, he was continuously trying to resolve the situation. He was, like, in that one I'm sorry. I don't think it's worth ending something that you apparently find comfort in and that you love doing, and that you have somebody who's about to be your family and you really enjoy doing. Are you going to end it over a sarcastic comment when, like, Ethan is really a very sarcastic guy. He is somebody with his own mental stuff.
Yeah. She wasn't always rude. She just basically, she's had episodes before, and in the past. She, Trisha's had, it's not like she's had a rough life, but she's gotten through it. You know, she's definitely gone through a lot of adversity, and she's gotten through it pretty well. And I think that some of those things still pop out. And then the problem is that, like, we've been so, like, I think, like, for me, like, I haven't seen her blow up since then, so I have a higher respect for her. And then when this happens, it's like, bro, what the hell? Like, why did this have to happen?
I think it's just the whole...
I strive to have his cool patience as well. Sorry.
I don't know. I just think...
Let me tell you, though, right now, they got 4,000 plus hoodies for Frenemies, and
I want one.
I highly recommend picking one up.
I want one.
I'm going to pick one up.
I saw a sticker that had, like, a broken heart and two pictures in them.
Bro.
I want that one.
Oh, yeah, bro. Also pick up a Zavon shirt.
It's going to be a meme later.
Or a Zavon,
All I'm saying is that, because I think that if this issue, like, if she had stated that she wanted to say something off the podcast, even if she said she wanted to end the podcast right there, he would have stopped the podcast, they would have had their conversation, they would have resolved it, and they would have been back next week.
Yeah.
She did something that she can't really take back.
Yeah, and I do believe that Ethan's comment was by accident. I don't think he really tried to be that way, and I think he just talked to someone like... I talk to my friends a lot differently than I talk to my mom, and sometimes that comes out, and how I talk to people comes, and I think he did regret it, and I don't think he meant to do that.
It's also kind
of
like...
You have a nice day, my man. Thanks for hanging in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think
so
that,
much
like,
progress.
Everybody has the buttons that they can't have pushed, and when you continuously push a button... After somebody's, like, basically, not in so many words, but somebody's saying, I want to end this conversation by saying, okay, I'm sorry, he apologized, like, 14 times.
Yeah, and they should have moved on. And
then she continued to, and then because the first thing she said was about the Q&A segment, where she also talked shit about the fans, basically, too. She was like, this is stupid, who gives a shit? I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Again, I hope, again, compared to the last blowout, it wasn't as bad. But man,
no,
it
Ethan
hurts.
handled himself like a true queen.
He did. And again, I think if the whole thing came out where Trisha wouldn't have gotten a bunch of... The problem is that you got two people with really, really big audiences, right?
And two very big personalities.
And they, if Trisha cancels someone, it's done. Like, when she canceled Jeff Wittick, dude, that guy got lit up with stuff from her people.
He canceled himself.
Mike Malak, lit up with people. Completely laid into.
Nozzle.
That's your problem, Ethan. You push and push and push. That was in the,
She was pushing and pushing and pushing. Dude, she could have freaking had a baby with how much she was pushing.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how they came to this position, and I hope that in the end of the day they'll be able to move on.
Like, I understand if you have your grievances, and I understand that no relationship or friendship is perfect, no business relationship is perfect. But you don't call the ideas of the production crew shit.
Yeah.
You don't talk about money on the podcast. You don't speculate about money when she literally is like, oh, they're making this much money. I'm just guessing because I haven't seen the figures. And then say it's not about money. Continuously talk about money. blame it on your mental illness, but then continuously say you're going to therapy. Talk about how, like, she's like, why the fuck are you talking so much about your wife being pregnant? I don't know, they've been on IVF for forever, and she's having, like, multiple babies at once. That's freaking exciting, kind of terrifying. But, like, she kind of, and then like, kind of attacking his character, and the one thing he did was make a sarcastic comment and talk over her when she's talking about Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, he barely did anything. You know, she's in the hot seat, but I don't want her to be in the hot seat. And again, that's why I don't think I'll ever say that she's in the wrong, but it's like, it's brutal. And I haven't been since day one, but I've watched all of them, and it sucks to go. Yeah, that is what Gabby, that is what, I don't really want to discuss that, but yeah,
Abby Beta.
That's a whole other case. She is just an individual that I believe that does not deserve any attention and recognition and regard. And that's how I feel, because again, at the end of the day, you know, I'm upset of what Trisha has done, and I'm also upset to a degree of how, like, Ethan has acted in certain situations.
That's a good comment.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You know, she's attacking the fans, and Shane Dawson's fiance Ron's.
Because they had talked about the advice thing on the last Frenemies podcast before that. I remember them talking about it, and she didn't say a word about it.
Yeah. It's,
like, and there's a whole week before that. I'm sorry, but if you have grievances, don't put them on the internet like that.
No, it's,
She should know that. She's been in enough things where she's like, oh, I understand that, like, I need to deal with things privately, and then she does this shit. I'm sorry, but, like, I'm sorry that you're having mental issues, but you're letting those mental issues bleed into your career.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those situations where, like, the David Dobrik thing. She went a little, you know, she was a bit
narcissistic into it.
I wasn't gonna say narcissistic. I was gonna say that she was very vocal about what happened with everything with the whole David Dobrik thing, but she was in the right about that.
No, yeah, that was.
She called it out. She took care of it. It was easy, and then the whole Charlie D'Amelio thing of her canceling her and then James Charles. Also, side note. I don't want to get into this because I believe that we should take this for another episode. But I do think it's ridiculous that Jake Bell got arrested.
Drake Bell.
Oh, I guess I'm rolling my words. Drake Bell got arrested, or whatever his last name is now, and James Charles hasn't. I think it's ridiculous. Again, on that Frenemies episode, that the last one that we ever had, they did discuss that a little bit, and it takes a while for things to catch up. Obviously, but maybe this is another one of those situations, like, you know, Trisha, it was just waiting for things to, like, catch up and hit a line. Maybe it never would have worked, and maybe it's a miracle that it worked this long.
No, it really is a miracle that it worked this long, because I think, honestly, my thing is, like, I liked the Frenemies segment. It wasn't my favorite I've been watching H3H3 for a while, dude. I've been watching since the first time he interviewed Posty. And then when he interviewed Pewds for the first time, it's kind of like, I understand that this part of it is ending, but that's the thing, is that without Frenemies, H3H3 will continue as before.
Well, yeah, because
it's its own separate entity. It's its own separate company. That's why he should have executive control, because his name has been attached to it. His wife's name is attached to it. His son's name is attached to it because Teddy Fresh.
Yeah, I do, and from the comment that you just made, I do believe it's her inner Trisha that's mentally struggling, definitely. Like, I don't think that she wanted that. She's obviously apologetic and upset about what happened. It's just a situation, you know, that she put herself in, and we have to hope that it works out for the best.
It's kind of like you dig yourself a ditch, you got to get yourself out of it.
Trisha stated to Ethan that the show would be fine if there was another female host or whatever, but that doesn't sit right with me, because I think Trisha is, like, the perfect host.
No, it was great, but it's not.
The Salt and Pepper was great. It was fantastic. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of cool patience, a little bit of over-exacted.
No, that comment, we did talk about it, because they had posted texts between them that they had discussed these issues. They had discussed, and she actually posted those texts between them. She later deleted it, but them talking about the 55-45 and everything. They've talked about this exact thing, the 45-55, before on the show. So it's been kind of like a running trend. The whole, like, her calling the production crew shit, that was new. But I think that, like, this has been something, because first her issue was him interrupting her for pizza. Then it was that the segment was shit. Then it was then she doesn't have executive control. Then it was that, like, he's reusing titles and stuff like that. Like, why does she have control over, like, I understand that, like, sometimes it's kind of silly to use the same title, but he has so many goddamn episodes that, like...
They should not reuse titles.
They
And
should
John
reuse
does have an
titles,
amazing...
but that's not, like, something that's... Like, you know what I mean? She's calling him uncreative. She's calling him basically just, like... She's like, oh, you talk about the same exact things? Well, you can talk about the same topic with a different person and have it be a completely different vibe.
Yeah, again, and what John, I fully couldn't agree more with what John said. Like, when things get like boil and explode and they're not talked about, which obviously they did not address the issues after the first blow up, it's just like it's just a matter of time, and then it explodes. At least she didn't explode as much. 'Cause in the first one, she went down the chimney. Like, I don't want to see you again. You suck. You're horrible. You make everybody uncomfortable and all that. It is it's a special dynamic.
She's demonized him before, and that's what I don't like. I understand talking about it in a kind of impersonal context, like saying, I want more creative control. I don't feel as if I'm being given the creative control versus you're taking all the control over everything. You're doing this. It's kind of like...
Yeah, that's whole... He's, I like what John just said right there, but there's one, there was things in between the lines on that. I'm not justifying what she did. I'm saying she let him roll over her on text. I think she just agreed at the time and didn't ask any questions. And then when she realized what was going on, she didn't get upset about it. Again, I feel like she also was probably I want to hold her to a higher degree than I think she was. What are you looking for?
Water bottle.
Oh, might be. I drank your water. I have a headache.
I don't want to work with you anymore.
She did let it go, and she kind of agreed with it. Well, there was nothing in there. I'm sorry. She let it go. She let it slide. She went with what it's gone, and then that was, that put her in a bad position. And I just don't think at the last second, if she's upset about something, she can
because they got through that whole episode without it being an issue.
Yeah, well, sorry, Anne. It's harsh.
I just think she was being disrespectful.
He's still going to the wedding, though. Ethan will be getting drunk, apparently.
Well, because it's his brother.
Hey, thank you so much for the, I appreciate that, man. And we're trying here. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I hope it works out in the end, and I really do hope it comes back. I hope next Thursday, because they air on Thursdays, don't they? Or is After Dark on Thursdays?
After Dark is on Thursdays, Frenemies was on Tuesdays.
God, see how much of a fanboy I've become. I don't think he was trying to. I think she agreed and was going to bring it up later and let it stew. Yeah.
But that's not his fault.
That's not his fault. She, that's like the definition of like, that's not even...
That's the definition of deflecting your problems and making it somebody else's fault.
Just waiting to a point where you can explode? Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. I don't know.
And as you say, you're going to therapy for this, you're going to therapy for that. Like, I understand that you're going to therapy, but I don't know. It's not
like, I understand, like, if you're going to therapy and she's in a situation where some things can be taken differently, and maybe she shouldn't be doing. Maybe that's a better thing that she does step away. Maybe she needs to
take a break.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe her stepping away is the best thing for Trisha, and we love Trisha here. We want Trisha to be. Yeah, for sure. Wait, is that their vlog that they do? Off the Rails? Well, they're not doing that anymore either, because they were gonna, the next day after that came out, they were gonna do a vlog together, where they go to a rage room, and they called it off because the crew wasn't comfortable with Trisha's actions and how they treated her. Which is rightfully so. Fine, be my guest.
That's what I'm saying, is that if she had just aired these grievances privately, I don't think there would be that atmosphere of discomfort because she wouldn't be saying it in front of the production crew.
No, she just was not thinking about them.
I think which
is insane.
What would have been appropriate is for her to tell Ethan, look, I need to take a break for a week, because then she could have taken her break,
well, that's what Ethan
worked
told
on
her.
herself, then returned. But if she returns after this, a lot of his fan base doesn't like her anymore.
I don't know. I don't think that's the general thing. I think they still like her. She got a lot of hate yesterday.
She posted a tweet where she basically exposed herself for being anti-Semitic and was like, I'm converting to Judaism, it's not bad. I'm like, you still shouldn't have posted it? Like, you kind of like dug yourself like a little bit deeper. You added like a little anti-Semitic cherry on top of your sundae.
I'll agree with that, John. Yes, but she wanted to let it sink in and then didn't follow up. I'm just saying it's not a one-sided. It's not one-sided. There are sides to it. It's not a two-sided coin. You know, people see things. Trisha sees it the way that she sees it. Ethan saw it the way that he saw it. Ethan said, "Take a break." Trisha thinks that it should just be it. You know, and if that holds the family together, because already, you know, Trisha has not said terrible, but she's said some not good things about Gila and in the family, making it really awkward.
You come for my girl Gila, I come for you.
Well, and making things like awkward.
She's so unproblematic.
And then that was a situation, and now they have this situation where the show didn't work, and that's obviously going to be a thing for forever unless they sit down and talk about it. Again, we just hope that they keep it off the internet, and yeah, I guess we'll have to follow up on that, wouldn't we? What's weird is that I haven't noticed her discomfort throughout the episodes towards the crew. The only time was when she had the AB situation. Other than that, I haven't. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, she laughs with the crew all the time.
Well, no, the crew has been fine. There's not. It was just this situation. It didn't stay directly targeted at Ethan, because the first blow up, she was extremely on him. It was just they were going at it, and then this one it kind of spread. You know, the last one it spread a little bit more, but I'm not too familiar on it off the top of my head. I would have to rewatch it again just to make sure and go through it. Well. Nah, I don't want to. That was a low moment for her, and I don't want to keep bringing that up. I don't know. Well, hopefully that it gets through, and we hope that everything works out for the best. Because again, the content was great. The situation, the episode where they interrogated Jeff Wittick, fantastic content. Sorry, was absolutely incredible. They whipped that dude down. No idea why that guy agreed to that. And yeah, a lot of things have died down. Like really, after the Logan Paul fight, the whole like Mike Malak thing kind of died out, and the whole FaZe Bang thing everything kind of just died out this week, to be honest.
Like I told you.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like when people get canceled and everything, and like they just get more popular. And
they
like,
get more popular for a week, but if they don't, the thing is like you can capitalize on scandals like Jake Paul does, and you can like create it and make scandals kind of like your thing.
But they don't. You can't do that in this situation.
Not in this.
This is like actually sad. This is the sad.
No, this is sad. But all I'm saying is that like I don't feel sad for Trisha particularly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I feel sad about the situation. I feel
sorry for
that
Ethan.
It happened, that it went that direction.
Because Ethan spent $50,000 on that studio.
Well, he apparently also was bringing it downtown. So how much did that cost him go in downtown?
So much goddamn money. And when she said she didn't want to go downtown, he was like, fine.
Like again, Trisha, when she bought like her wedding is going to be. She was every single guest that Hey, maybe morning coffee will be the Tuesday then. Again, like her every wedding that every person that's going to her wedding is getting like $100 like gift box and everything. It's like bread, so much money right off the bat, and then everything else. And like that's what I'm saying. It's not about the money. It's about that she doesn't feel comfortable.
I don't fucking believe it. It's not about the money. I don't. I'm sorry.
It's not about the money.
If you say it's not about the money and then you continue to talk about the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like saying you're not upset, but you're crying.
It's kind of harsh. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but like, I understand that people have issues and people have things that they're dealing with, but I don't necessarily think that everybody needs to be coddled.
Jesus, the canceled vlog cost $5,000. That's ridiculous. Well, yeah, because they had the whole crew. Oh, because Trisha had like a whole like she got like a producer and everything. It was gonna be this whole like big thing. It was gonna be like a whole big thing, but it was like they were gonna be together on it.
I'm just saying, like he put so much money into Frenemies, and for her to say that it's not about the money and then continuously talk about the money. If it's about you being uncomfortable, absolutely talk about that. But that was a very minute part of what she was talking about.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she doesn't like the segments they do, how she thinks that it's dead space in the podcast, how it makes it a shit podcast, she doesn't give a shit about the advice that the fans want, she doesn't give a shit about what the producers want to do, and how she doesn't feel like she's getting the money that she hasn't seen the money yet. She's speculating about how much money it makes. If it's not about the money, you don't talk about money. I think that just saying, like she said in that second video she posted, she's like, I would never be disrespectful to the crew. You were disrespectful to the crew. I think that there are things that she has to deal with, and there are things that she should get some sympathy and get some empathy for, but I also think that she's been on YouTube for a very long time. She's been dealing with her mental illness for a very long time. She should know by now to think before she does these things.
Yeah, but again,
she's like
with,
over 30 years old. You are an adult.
I agree with what John's saying. Like, you can get really stuck on a topic if you're angry enough and then not be able to let it go. And like,
She was actually sorry. She would have deleted the video.
all right, I'm on the Frenemies Reddit, and I want to go through some of these things. So, the I don't know who runs the Frenemies pot. A lot of members. Gosh darn. All right, that's us, the internet. Ethan shouldn't have posted the argument. I was shocked when I actually saw it because it wasn't actually that bad. I'm gonna actually put this up here because I can. Okay. Ethan shouldn't have posted the argument. It was a shock when I actually saw it because it wasn't actually that bad. The freaking H3 subreddit blew it way out of proportion and started the hate train. I guess Twitter too. I would really would have been no issue if we didn't start freaking out. I'll give you that. And Trisha should have logged off for a few days and not made those videos. That's my piece. People really hate Trish, and we're waiting for something likely to happen so they could cancel her. You all know how easy it is to spend her sprawling. All three sides were wrong. Yeah, easily. That's sad.
It's sad, but I don't have sympathy. I really don't. I'm sorry. I empathize with her having a mental illness and that being a struggle for her,
Sure.
but I also think you're an adult.
This is interesting. This is boring and your ideas are lazy. I'm uncomfortable with this formula. Lazy, you don't even do anything. I'm hurt. Here are the faults with your ideas. I feel
Triggered.
unvalued in this moment. Why is this always an issue with you? I feel I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not upset. I just had a moment, and I would like to I can't read that.
move on if I can, but he tried to move on with the conversation so many times. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, whatever you said. I feel like you lashed out at me, and I'm not ready to move on. So this person thinks that Ethan was not ready to move on. Trish said, "I can't believe you," challenging me as I'm trying to minimize a trigger. That's not. I didn't get that.
That's not.
All right, I think this is going to be the last.
This is the thing. This is the thing that I wanted to talk about. The fact that the entire podcast, Habby Ganna is, because I don't want to say her name.
Sure.
She has a definitive mental illness, and Trisha was talking talking about it and saying that she's mentally unstable and that she allows her mental illness to sneak in through what she posts on the internet. And then Trisha does this. It's not in the same degree of severity, but I do think that, like, you can't call it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Like,
Again, Gabby is mentally. You can't excuse people's behavior because of mental illness. You have to stay consistent. Frenemies held a lot of people accountable for their shitty behavior. Keep the same.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
because
saying.
Dude, that's like the one problem I think that Frenemies would have is that you're talking a lot of shit. And when Ethan speaks and they speak, I think they do next level documenting. Like, it's a lot of you got to be careful with what you're saying, and they really just did not handle this appropriately, either side of them. Also, Twitter didn't help. Like, everyone shouldn't have just lashed out on each other, because again, like, everyone it was either like, you were terrible, or making fun of stream. Is there anything else? 17 hours ago. Once again, I'm asking for Moses to turn off the Wi-Fi. I think the fan base is 90% of the issue of this time. Trisha and Ethan's argument wasn't even that big of a deal compared to the past disagreement. Yeah, no duh. They've had worse, but fans are so divided and heated for them. What does that word say? Parasocially?
that's the thing I was talking about on the last
that pushing
podcast.
Ethan and
Parasocial
parasocial parts
relationships.
causing. Yeah, dude. Again, like, the second you bring this onto the internet, dude, I refer to her as the monster.
As soon as you bring this shit onto the internet, it's fair game.
But I'm saying that's why it should never been on the internet. They should
That's
never
what I'm
posted
saying.
it.
She should never
It's
have
ridiculous.
posted it.
Like, Ethan's completely in the wrong for posting it. Dude, this is
He
hilarious.
asked her if he could post it.
Yeah, no, and she agreed. But again, like, he shouldn't have. He should have realized that this was a terrible idea. And
'Cause I don't think he thought she was serious because he didn't
Hold
know
up.
she was going to post the video the next morning.
hold up, we're gonna take a look at this real quick. I'm curious. You know.
Obviously, I don't want to get in an argument.
We really need to leave.
Okay, all right, we're done. Thank you, guys.
that, but it was good. I like the Adult Swim trend, but that's kind of fucked. You being excited for Frenemies things?
No, because
dude, because like the morning that I woke up, this was what Noelle said to me. She was like, "Did you see the podcast?" And then it's over,
like,
and I was like,
"Bro."
"Nah way." I was like, "Cap, no way."
Because Ethan actually tweeted that Trisha's video that morning was a complete surprise to him. He posted that video, and then she posted a video that morning. He didn't know that she was going to post that, because I think he just thought that she was upset and that she was going to take a minute. He didn't know she was leaving the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't have posted the video in the first place, but I think she also blindsided them. Like, if you're in if you are in a business relationship and you were considering ending that business relationship, that is not something that you should do over the internet. It's the same way where you should not accuse somebody of something that is a crime over the internet. It's something, like, there are certain things that don't belong on the internet at that point. Like, if you're going to decide to end it, have a meeting with them, air your grievances, say what's wrong, and be an adult.
Yeah, dude, and they're not even thinking about, like, you know, like in this comment right here, like, dude, it hurts to look at this stuff, you know? Oh, no. It hurts to look at this stuff and experience this, and a lot of people who, you know, like right here, like, I think that, not like the majority of Trisha, but I think that people who relate with Trisha watch Trisha, and then when they see things like that, it can really just destroy the situation. So I think that this right here is a really good, it's a good note to end on.
I just want to say, like, it's me saying I don't have sympathy for Trisha in the situation. I empathize with the fact that she does have a mental illness, and that's something that she's working on, but that is not an excuse.
It's not. I believe that,
I think that she was in the wrong for posting that video. Ethan's in
the wrong for posting. Oh, they're both in the wrong for posting videos. They're both in
the wrong for retaliating against each other, but I do think ultimately Trisha started off the whole train of being disrespectful to the production crew and allowed herself to spiral.
Yep.
I think if she's been going to therapy and she realized that she was spiraling, that should have been, or also when he asked her if he could post the video, she should have said no.
Yep. And again, the video's not live. It should never been posted. Things shouldn't have been said. Things should have been handled appropriately. And
I'm not saying that she deserves any sort of hate or anything. Neither does Ethan. Nobody deserves hate. But I do think that certain things should be discussed afterward, because this is something that is currently, like, wrong with the internet. Like with the whole Sienna, whatever the hell her name is, that teenager who was accused of essaying that guy Jake. I don't remember his last name. But they're teenagers and they're airing these things that could be federal crimes on the internet. And there are certain things that should be held privately or should be held in a more serious and formal matter.
Right.
And I think especially when you have issues about money, you're an adult. You should be setting an example for somebody. If you're wanting to set examples for somebody with mental illnesses, you should be setting the example of holding yourself accountable for the things that you do and the things that are triggered by your mental illness. I also think that Ethan did hold himself accountable. He was like, I shouldn't have said those things. I'm taking a break from Twitter right now, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that he was also justified in that, because the whole thing was started over a comment, over him talking over her, talking about Brokeback Mountain by talking about pizza, and him having a sarcastic comment after she spent almost 10 minutes dehumanizing him.
Yeah, it's
I think that it's something that should have been dealt with privately, and I think she did catalyze this, and she needs to take responsibility for that.
Yep.
But I don't think she deserves hate.
Nope, I don't think she deserves hate, and I think she
should
should apologize to it, but she should not bring it to the internet. It should all be done behind closed doors, and if things are cool, then they should state things are cool. But yeah,
with peace and love.
With peace and love. Thank you everybody for tuning into the stream today. This was a wild ride. We successfully talked about one of my two favorite people right now. For this amount of time. So, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe.
That's what I mean. Everything on the table.
Leave everything on the table. Nothing is ever. Yeah.
If you put it on the table, it stays.
Nope. Nothing is ever. I like to keep things private.
I do too.
Except on these podcasts.
We don't talk about ourselves though. Like.
No. Yeah. But again, thank you everybody. Peace and love. Take it easy. Again, comment, like, subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot.
Hug your dog.
And News Avant merch coming out soon. Yeah. So.